Welcome to Bet On. I am Kelly Stewart, and Marco D'Angelo just gave me specific instructions. We've got less than an hour to do this show. Why? He's got a pony race coming up. Let's bring in Marco and VR. Welcome, gentlemen. Let's have ourselves an amazing NFL Week 4. We're going to start off with that Thursday night primetime game, Jacksonville Jaguars at Cincinnati. Got my WagerTalk odds screen open. This one opened 6.5, up to 7.5, rightfully so. Total 45.5. Who wants a piece of the Jacksonville Jaguars right now? This is on a team I have on the do not bet list. There's 3 teams I can't touch. That is the Falcons, the Jets, and the Jags. It's early, but that's just how we're at until further notice. Marco, can I get you to buy it on the Jaguars?
No, you can't. And this is one of those ones, Kelly, perfect public service announcement. It's a Thursday night game. We're going to talk about it because it's Thursday night. We're always talk about the TV games. When we talk about our records on the show, we don't include the TV games unless it makes it into one of our other categories. And for me, this play does, Kelly, because it's going to make the teaser segment for me later in the show. This is a game, the only way I can play this game. Do I want to lay over a touchdown with the Cincinnati Bengals? No, not with that defense. I know they just manhandled my Steelers last week, Kelly. But as we talked just before we went on the air, it's a sad state of affairs in Pittsburgh right now. The offensive line is absolutely horrible. And when Cincinnati can get a pass rush going, you know the offensive line is horrible for the Steelers. But Jacksonville, they don't got much more to present here. Somewhere along the line, Trevor Lawrence is going to have a good game, but I don't see that happening yet, especially in this game. This is a Thursday night game. You got a rookie quarterback on a short week, and if you remember, I talked about it last week. This is a Thursday night game that's not a division game, so it makes it even tougher on that road team having the travel day and having to prepare for a team you don't see twice a year. Advantage Cincinnati. So I said, why not lay the 7.5? I don't trust their defense, but I will lay 1.5 on a teaser. And when we get to the other segment, you'll find out who that other half is.
Great point, Marco. This is a great spot to use the Bengals in a teaser. VR, can you get to the window on this Jaguars team?
Can you get to the window on this Cincinnati team should be the question. Seriously, has the world turned upside down in 3 weeks? This is the Cincinnati Bengals, and they're 7.5-point touchdowns against Jacksonville. What are we talking about? They could go out there and win by 40 points, and they still shouldn't be 7.5-point touchdown favorites over anybody. They've been dogs all 3 weeks this season. 2 of those games were coin flips. One they won in overtime. If they played them again, this could be an 0-3 team right now. So they have no business at all laying 7.5. That's my argument. I'm not going to defend Jacksonville, but you can't stand up for Cincinnati. What's to love with Cincinnati? They're terrible defensively. They're terrible offensively. When I look at least even skill set for skill set, position for position, I think only the receiving set for Cincinnati's better. Front 7 on defense, I don't see any edges. Even the secondary, I don't see any edges. On the offensive side of the ball, I don't see a much better rushing game. Even the quarterback situation, or a couple of weeks, we need to slow this down. Again, they beat a Pittsburgh team that had half the team missing. And before we get all excited and want to jump on them, let's not do it when they're 7.5-point favorites. Again, I'm not saying they're not going to go out there and win by 4 touchdowns. But when you look on that board on Thursday, are you seriously telling me that the best position you can find to trade your dollars is Cincinnati minus 7.5? You're going to lay minus 110 on that? Like you're going to pay juice or you're going to pay admission to back Cincinnati? No chance, dude. Give me Jacksonville or pass. And again, I haven't bet this game. I haven't released this game. I haven't released anything yet this week because bombs are coming. But with all that said, why are we even talking Cincinnati 7.5-point favorites? Please, because of their 2-1 record, which look a little deeper and it's as phony as a $3 bill.
There you go. No, the only reason we're talking about
it is because we know Jacksonville sucks. At least we know who Jacksonville sucks. Since he's the Fugazi, it's like what did the Taliban? Now they're good? No, they're Cincinnati. They still suck. No.
You just called them the Taliban. I cannot.
Well, yeah,
You're
once they're
hilarious.
bad, the next day they're good. We don't know what they are. No, we know what they are. Cincinnati's just not good yet. Give them a couple seasons. Burrow's
There
a
you go.
rookie.
Fair enough. Going from a game none of us want to
More or
watch on
less.
Thursday night to a game that is, I swear, I tweeted this earlier, going to be the biggest talking point of the weekend, and that is Tom Brady's return to New England. Man, I would love to get a 7.5 here. I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't think the bookmakers want to stick their necks out and give me that hook. But right now, the Bucs 7-point favorites, total 49. Mark, I'm going to go to you first. I think a lot of people are going to want to tease the Bucs, and that's not the correct move here. We know that. But in the fact that they want to tease the Bucs makes me want to take the Patriots. It looks so easy, especially after Tom lost on the road on Sunday night.
Oh, Kelly, this has got primetime home dog written all over it for you. I mean, they should have just did the NBC special with having you talk about this game. And did you happen to catch the special, the tweet that they had in the commercial for the game with Adele singing "Hello"? I mean, that was the best. I looked at that and I just absolutely laughed. And tell me, how many different new blitz packages do you think Bill Belichick has been drawing up for the last 3 weeks waiting for this game? There's no question that both guys, when the schedule come out, Belichick and Brady had this game circled on their calendar. They can't wait for it. And that's part of the reason why I liked the Rams last week. Even though it was the Rams and possibly playing for home field advantage, Tom couldn't help but be looking ahead to this week. Am I going to back Tom? I can't, because you're paying the price for Tom Brady and the fact that New England hasn't looked good. Last week, they shot themselves in the foot continuously against the Saints. Another reason why I was on the Saints last week. This game on deck. The value is with New England, no question about it. They have a good defense. If they can contain Tom Brady, and if there's anybody that should know how to, you would think it would be Bill Belichick, because he's always done game plans to protect his quarterback and put him in the best situations to win. It is the teacher and the student. And we know everybody asked the question last year, was it Bill? Was it Tom? Well, Tom answered that last year by winning a Super Bowl. But it's Bill's turn to make have the last word. For me, it's New England or pass. I might just be a pure fan in this game, Kelly, because it is a game with all the hype that's out there. You want to watch. This is something you want. This is destination TV. Everybody's waited for this matchup for him to return. I'm going to enjoy it. Maybe I'll have, a little bit of money just to have some fun. People always say pizza money. Well, for me, it's chicken wing money. So we'll have something there. Okay. But if you've ever seen me eat chicken wings, that's, the bill can run up. Price of chicken wings are high right now.
Marco, it's because of chicken wings I had to cut all my fingernails off. I want you to know that's your fault. Making fun of me for using a knife and a fork that one fateful day, and you took a picture. That being said, VR Sunday Night Football. I'm with Marco here. It's Pats or pass.
I'm going to tell you this. I agree with you guys 100%. Bottom line is this. If you bet the Buccaneers side when this line opened up at -5.5, I'll even just go as far as saying maybe if you laid 6, all right, you got an okay ticket in your pocket, especially now that we're looking at 7. And if this game goes off 7.5, you win or lose, you got a good bet in your pocket. I can't argue that. But now I think it's a terrible bet taking the Tampa Bay side at -7. I think it's an even worse bet teasing them. Again, we've talked about the teasers over and over and over again. Go back and check it out. Look on the WagerTalk or my Twitter. We did a video on that where we passed it along. Those are the reasons why I'm not sponsored by sports books, because that's not what you want to teach people. They want you to be teasing 15-point favorites down to -9. Or better, use 7-point favorites and take that 15-point favorite down to -8. It's a great bet. Now, of course it isn't. Back to Tampa Bay, New England. The bottom line is this. I just think it's too many points for Tampa to be given because of the New England defense. They've done nothing wrong this year. Let's not forget, this is a team, okay, they're 1-2. They're even 1-2 against the spread, a little underperforming. they've been favored all 3 games. This is the first time New England's been an underdog all season. Let's not forget that. Number 2, except for New Orleans, who Mac Jones threw 3 interceptions, they're the only team that scored more than 20 against them. I think, and again, all right, it was the Jets and it was Miami, but still, even New Orleans needed 3 turnovers and still only put up 28 points. New England's defense is legit, and I think Belichick's going to have them primed and ready for Tampa Bay. They know what they're in for. He also knows he has a rookie quarterback, and he knows what that rookie quarterback's in for. And I think he's going to devise a game plan that's not going to let him have to win the game, not let it get out of control. I think we're going to see a New England be able to keep this close and possibly even get that win at the end. But at the least, +7, I'm taking it. I haven't bet it, but we're covering the game. And if I had to bet this game, I'd be on New England. I'd bet the game over as well, because New England will have to score to keep with Tampa Bay, meaning their defense is going to have to win the game, but Tampa's still going to put up some points. We saw that last year. It's just that kind of team, like a Kansas City. Even if you beat Kansas City or cover against Kansas City and have a good game defensively, they're still going to get their points on you. It's like with some fighters, you could beat them, but you're still going to walk out with lumps on your face. They're going to land their shots. And I think with Tampa, they're going to put up points, but I think New England could keep them to that minimal, which again is still better than most teams. Give me New England plus the points.
I was so worried about getting through the show fast that I forgot to add this to our intro. If you saw the college football segment, apologies for patting ourselves on the back twice. But I did want to touch base and say thank you to all of you guys that follow us each and every single week. As Marco says, this does not include the TV primetime games, but these are our teasers. These are our survivor picks. These are our best bets. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. So far, a profitable 3-4 weeks in college football and NFL. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're talking TNA, Survivor, and some teasers.
Why is our 269 October All Access special one of our best deals ever? Let us count the ways. 5 college football Saturdays, 5 NFL Sundays, full month of MLB playoffs, NHL starts October 12th, NBA season starts October 19th, plus any other sport your favorite handicap releases, all for under $9 a day. As an added bonus, sign up early and get the rest of September included for free.
Welcome back to Bet On It. It is time for your favorite TNA enthusiast. Get your minds out of the gutter. It is time for Mr. Ralph Michaels, a.k.a. Stat Daddy. Ralph, Sunday night, I'm at dinner, having a great time with some really good and some very sharp friends. We got into this age-old debate. Do you buy off 3.5? Do you buy off 3? And I said, you know what, you guys? I got a guy for this. I do. I sent you a text message. I said, hey, Ralph, can you pull these numbers for me? So before we get into this week's TNA, can you please explain what you found here? I know the producers have a chart for us.
You know, Kel, the thing is this. There's a lot of people that are very sharp, but numbers don't lie. And let's just basically break down the numbers from every NFL game since 2000 with a line of 3 or 3.5. Now, you see there's a left-hand chart and a right-hand chart. And why does that matter? Well, those that follow me on Twitter, @CalSportsLV, know I've tweeted multiple times that the important numbers in the NFL have changed dramatically since 2015 when the extra point line got moved back. 5, which people talked about being a dead number, is now a very relevant number with this new betting. So the left side of the charts are prior to 2015 with the old extra point. The right side of the charts are since they moved the extra point back. The top chart, when you have an NFL team favored as 3.5 and you want to buy it down to 3, it costs you 10% every time you buy. So for you to be profitable, you had to land on 3 more than 10% of the time to break even, over 10% of the time to make a profit. Take a look. Prior to 2015, there were 510 games in the NFL with a line of -3.5. Only 35 fell on 3. That's 6.9%. So you spent 51.10 units, you lost 3.1%. If you look since 2015, 7.5%. If you guys could just throw up that chart for one more second. If you go from 3 down to 2.5, I know it's fun, Kel, and I know it's exciting when you're on an NFL team and you buy it down and you get that one win and you remember that one win. But since prior to 2015, there were 967 games that were a 3-point favorite. 92 or 9.5% landed. So you only lost 5.5%. Since they moved the extra point back, you lost a full 1%. So it's not you're going to lose your butt scheme, but clearly buying off 3.5 down to 3 or off from 3 to 2.5 has been a losing proposition. So plainly, the numbers do not lie. Do not buy those half points.
Ralph, one last question regarding that, and it's something that's important and we talk about on the show all the time. What juice were you using to buy that hook? How much were you using? Minus 120? Minus 130?
I was just using a paying 10%, and I know some places you're actually paying more. So those numbers are just if you could find a 10% buy off. If you were paying more, obviously for every half unit you had to pay, you're going to lose another 0.5%. So great point, Cal, because back in the old days, a lot of people were charging 20% to buy off a 3, which makes those numbers even crazier.
Great stuff, as always, from Ralph. This is why we're friends, because I can send him a drunken text message at 10 p.m. at night from an Italian restaurant and say, Ralph, I need your help for this show on Wednesday. He is the best. Now, let's get into NFL Week 4 TNA.
You know, I want to break another myth. How often do we hear teams are off a back-to-back road game? Oh, they're going to struggle. They're playing back-to-back road games. Let me just set it straight. This is the NFL age of teams leaving right after they play, flying on first-class jets, having facilities that get them ready. Since 2017, Kel, if you played every team that was on the second game of a back-to-back, you have covered 52%. So just above the break-even mark, but clearly not the negative numbers that people talk about when they write NFL teams off a back-to-back. So then I wanted to look at some specific teams. Baltimore, oh my God, Baltimore's on a second of back-to-back and they're going to play the Denver Broncos. Since 2017, there have been 10 teams that have played back-to-back games with the second game in Denver. Those teams are 50% against the spread. There has been no advantage for Denver on the second of back-to-backs. I will mention these teams. When you go to Jacksonville on the second of a back-to-back, you are 6-1-2 against the spread. If you go to Tampa Bay on the second of back-to-back, you are 6-2-3 ATS. If you go to Buffalo, second of back-to-backs, you're 5-2-3. And look at these 4 bad teams. Now, Miami made the playoffs last year, but I'm looking at numbers for the last 5 years. When you're playing a very poor team on the second of back-to-back, I think teams may overlook them. Teams playing at Cincinnati, the second of back-to-back, 2-5-3 ATS. At Detroit, 2-5-3 ATS. At Miami, 3-7-1 ATS. And at Cleveland, 3-6-3 ATS. Kelly, we've talked about back-to-back road games, but again, even though the number's only 52%, I want our viewers to know that this NFL era is not your dad's NFL era where back-to-back teams have been a negative.
Ralph, one of these days, I'm going to get you to do that whole East Coast myth when those teams travel from the West Coast, because that just doesn't really happen anymore. You're absolutely right. That's something my dad still talks about. What else do you have for us this week?
3 quick systems to finish off the segment. Since 2009, teams that are 3-0 and a dog, off to a great start. Now you're an underdog. It's only happened 15 times in 12 years. Those teams, 5-10 against the spread. So not a number you're going to base a play on, but something to think about, that those 3-0 dogs you think maybe have value actually haven't had value. They are Las Vegas, Arizona, and Carolina, again, 3-0 dogs, have gone 33% ATS. How about the opposite? How about you win as a home dog and now you're at home? So we talked about back-to-back aways. How about teams that are at home for a second week and they pull the upset? I actually thought this one would be good, and it's not. Teams that pull the upset as a home dog and are now at home again have only gone 32-49, 39% against the spread. Those teams to look to fade this week. Minnesota's off a home upset win against Seattle, and they're back at home against Cleveland. And the Rams, of course, off the home upset against Tampa Bay and are playing Arizona. And finally, the last one, you're on the road, you lose as an away favorite, and now you're on the road. Well, guess what? We just talked about Tampa Bay losing at the Rams. We just talked about Seattle losing at Minnesota. So we looked at the home dog, now at home. Now we're looking at losing as an away favorite and on the road again. It is the exact opposite results. 25-13-2 play on Tampa Bay and on Seattle. That is 66%. So often in the NFL, Kel, I look at one side of a system or an angle. We do the reverse, and those ATS results are exactly the opposite. The exact same situation happened in those last two systems.
Okay, Ralph, before I let you go, who is your survivor pick for this week?
You know, I'm going with Tennessee. Yes, there's some bigger spreads out there, but I'm not afraid to lay it on the road with a team that can run the ball against the Jets offense that's been anemic. And I look at Tennessee, and I think teams are going to be able to slow them down. So you get to this point of the season, you start looking at what the lines are going to be moving forward. I think Tennessee is in one of their most advantageous situations. So I'm going to be on the Tennessee Titans.
Like our videos, then subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification button so you'll always be the first to know when there's new content available.
Ralph taking a road favorite in the Tennessee Titans this week in Survivor. I don't know how else to explain it. We get in the Slack, we put in our picks every single week right before the show. Marco and I are in lockstep, so I'm just going to let Marco have the floor here. Marco, who is our Survivor pick for this week?
Well, Kelly, this is one of the weeks that we talk about. For me, this is how I approached it, and I'm sure it's what you did. You either can go with the logical choice, which would have been Buffalo this week. You want to, get that automatic win, or you start playing game theory. And game theory is you want to try to get some teams when you have an opportunity that you might never want to use again. And that presents the Cincinnati Bengals this week. There's no time that I ever want to be playing in a survivor contest when you're playing for $1 million first place prize that you want to be resting on the Cincinnati Bengals to keep you alive. But this is a spot where they can do it against Jacksonville. And what it does is when you use a team like Cincinnati now and save one of those slam dunk teams like Buffalo for later in the season, when everybody's scrambling over the last 5 weeks because they used all of their big guns, you have some left in the chamber to fire. And that's game theory for winning a survivor contest. So this week for me, it is the Cincinnati Bengals to win on the short week at home against the very bad Jacksonville Jaguars team that has to travel on the road on a short week with a rookie quarterback. And that's how I arrived at the Cincinnati Bengals.
Basically, I never planned on using the Bengals, Marco, never once. And I'm in a different league with 4 different options. So I did use the Bills in one of them just because why not? I considered using the Titans in one and said probably not. I did use the Bengals in another, and the other 2, I'm still kind of undecided because, well, it's Wednesday. Let's see who VR's got this week and see if maybe he can't help me come up with one of those other 2.
I take the Saints for me. I think this is a good spot for the Saints to use them against the Giants traveling on the road. The Saints coming off a nice win against New England. Give me the Saints.
I'm with
I'm
you.
not the
There's some
survivor
teams.
guy.
Yeah, we know you're not the Survivor guy, but that's okay. You picked it up since losing week 1. Good thing you didn't have that $1,000 in pocket like last year where every single one of my buddies went out week 1. That has got to be painful. I like the Saints too, and you're right. One of those play against teams is the Giants. Saints might be
I didn't even
worth
make
one
it
of my
to
other
get
spots.
into like Circa or Super Contest this year. I forgot. And I was like, damn, I didn't even get time to get down there this season. It was that one
Just
of those years.
too
So I
busy?
didn't forget for Survivor. Yeah, unfortunately.
VR, that's okay. I just need you focused.
Now I think I'm happy because I've come out of the gate not on fire. So it's not like, even if you're 15-0 right now, it's not like you got a great shot of winning. I mean, you got a better shot than the people that are 0-15, obviously, but it's so early. But yeah, if you
Are
haven't
there
come
people
out
actually
top,
0-15? I haven't even looked at the standings. That would be really
I haven't
crazy to
looked.
see.
I'm not in it. So yeah, this season.
I've been having a really great season, and I'm kind of kicking myself. But
Good for
that's
you.
beside the point. It is what it is. NFL picking up right where it left off last year. We're going to pick up right where we left off, and that is going right into the teasers. Last week was a glorious, beautiful, wonderful teaser week. We got another one again this week. We've got all sorts of options. Marco, who is your teaser for NFL week number 4?
Well, Kelly, I know that you know a lot of bookmakers around town, and you used to do a podcast with one of them. Did he need a big hug this week after all those teasers came in at the sports book? It was bad for the books. And this week, I'm going with, we already talked about the first half. It's the Cincinnati Bengals. Get them down into a situation where they just have to win the game. And the other one is the most traditional style of teaser. We've got a low total. We've got a small road dog that we're going to take up through all of the key numbers, 3, 4, 6, and 7. That is the Indianapolis Colts against the Miami Dolphins. And we saw Miami. They aged me by, about 5 years on Sunday last week against the Raiders. A tough game. Now they're coming home. I don't see, tell me they can win this game. Yeah, sure. Miami can win this game. Can they get separation? I don't see that, especially in a game where both teams are going to struggle for points. My God, we're looking at a total of 42.5. Teasing this up and getting 8. Do you know how much value there is getting 8 points when you're talking about a total of 42.5? It's an automatic teaser for me. Take Cincy and Indy as your teaser.
Yeah, Colts is on my list amongst a couple other dogs. I teased the Vikings and the Ravens. Ravens have already dropped a little too low to put them in their teaser. But VR, who is your teaser for this week?
I'm going to go ahead and use, obviously, the Saints. Touched on them. I like them for Survivor. They fall into the Wong teaser. And come Sunday, if you remind me, I'll try to tweet them out again. Because, again, between now and Sunday, some teams that are right on the border will fall into it, or some that are actually teasable now may not be teasable come Sunday. So you're teasing numbers. We won't get into that long theory, but that's why we're using the teaser. So we'll use the New Orleans Saints, and then I'm going to take the Atlanta Falcons as well, taking them up over a touchdown. How ironic. Both these teams are one-win football teams, and both of them have beaten the New York Giants. Funny thing is, if you look at that line, it appears, at least on paper, based on those numbers, that the Giants are much better. But power rating wise, I actually have them a pick 'em, not what the lines reflected when they each played the Giants, because that line reflects somewhere near a touchdown better. And they're not even close. That's where it shows how perception changes from week to week. So give me the Atlanta Falcons at home to get their first home win. Remember, they got blown out in week 1 against the Philadelphia Eagles. They were favored to win that home game. I don't think they pass up this opportunity to get a win coming off that Giants road win. Give me Atlanta. The insurance is over a touchdown, too.
All right, we're cooking right along because Marco's got that pony race to watch. When we come back, we got a steam game. Is the deli back open? And we got some of those barking dogs.
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. All daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including $40 5% best bets. As an added bonus, all new users will receive $25 in wager bucks credited to their accounts, available for immediate use after their initial $9 Monday purchase. So make sure to take advantage of $9 Mondays at WagerTalk.com.
Welcome back to Bet On It. If you watched the college football show, Marco had a pretty great trap game of the week, and it looks like He's got another one for us this week in the NFL.
Yeah, Kelly, we're going to go to a trap and we're going to head out west. Divisional matchup between Seattle and San Francisco. This is one of my favorite angles that sets this one up. I like to go against a team that looked super in losing. And could San Francisco look any better than they did and then lose the game? Jimmy Garoppolo, they trailed the entire game, but he takes them down the field in the waning moments, gets the lead, puts them in the end zone to get the looks like the apparent win, only leaves about 40 seconds on the clock for Aaron Rodgers. But it turned out to be enough as Aaron Rodgers drove them down the field and got them into field goal range and beat them on the final play of the game. So automatically people are going to look and say, hey, they look good. Sunday Night Football, everybody was tuned in. They almost beat Green Bay. They should have no problem beating Seattle. My God, Seattle lost last week on the road to Minnesota, who was winless. Well, not so fast, my friends, as Lee Corso would say. I'm going with Seattle to get the job done. This is a divisional game. And one thing that Seattle brings to the table with that offense that Green Bay doesn't, yeah, it's Aaron Rodgers back there, but Russell Wilson gives you the dual threat. He can beat you with his arm and he can beat you with his legs. And the San Francisco defense, I think, can be had. It'll set up the running game for them because they got to respect the running game, which opens up the passing game. And then once the passing game's working, opens up the running game and back and forth. And then when it breaks down and you've got defenders downfield, you also get those open lanes in the middle for Russell Wilson. I'll go ahead and take Seattle in this one. And let's be honest with San Francisco. If you look at the schedule of who they played, yeah, they played Green Bay last week, and Green Bay did move the ball up and down the field. That was the best offense they had faced. Prior to that, they played San Francisco and Philadelphia, and we've seen in the last couple of weeks what those two teams look like. So really, how good is the 49ers? I'll go ahead here, take Seattle plus the points, and I'll be honest, this line's floating between 2.5 and 3. At 3, it's a play on Seattle by the straight. At 2.5, they go into my teasers, Kelly, as well, because you get them at the 8.5.
Great point. Seattle will be in one of my teasers. VR, you were so kind as to share some of your gold with us this week on the College Football Show. Tell me who your Steam game this week is, and maybe the little leprechaun guy gets to come back out with his pot of gold.
Oh, yeah, and he's got a bunch of good totals for you guys for them college football because they've bet a ton of them, and they've been doing well. But let's talk NFL. And this is an ugly team and an ugly game. And the only side, the only kind of money that would back it is wise guy money. And that's the Houston Texans against the Buffalo Bills. Fortunately for the books, they do get sharp money opposite public money on games like this. Again, when we're on this segment, it's the share Steam. And I look at those games that I know multiple groups bet and are significant positions that they're backing. And Texans are legit as a move, plus 17.5, plus 17. Now I know it's down to 16.5. I see that. Do not buy the half point. Please don't do that. We touched on that on Monday Night Football. There's even a video out on my Twitter. Do not get insulted. When I share those rants, it's not to insult anyone. I was that guy buying those points, even a whole point. You know why? Because I was moving Steam. Remember, that's what brought me out here. So when I missed the number, I would sometimes a lot of times buy the point and think I was getting the same number as them. Meaning in this game, if I moved plus 17.5 for them and plus 17, and they got the 16.5, I'd go to the Stardust. Okay, I'll take the half a point and lay minus 120. And in my mind, I actually thought I had the same bet as they did. And nothing could be further from the truth. And I started realizing, why do they keep making more money and I'm losing money over long term? So please do not buy the half a point just to take it to 17 to think it matters that much. But sit back because they're going to bet it up once all the trends come out against Buffalo. Following a straight up win of more than 2 touchdowns, they're 7-1-1 ATS and all that. I know, I hear it, I get it. And I know how bad Houston has looked, but I could tell exactly why the betting syndicates lined up on the Houston side. Number one, the power ratings reflect, even with having Houston as the worst team in the NFL, which I do on my power ratings, and I'm sure they do as well. Yes, even the Jets would be favored over Houston on a neutral field, probably by a point at the most, but they would be favored. That's why, but even so, Buffalo still not 17, 16 points better than them, even at home. This is the NFL. And then on top of that, look at the schedule, and that's what the Sharps saw, that Buffalo has a much bigger game with Kansas City on deck. And obviously, it's the NFL. You don't overlook every game matters. But after you beat up on Miami 35-0, Washington 43-21, you may get caught overlooking a Houston team that just got blown out by Carolina. And with 16.5 points, 15, I don't even care, more than 2 touchdowns, all you need is that back door to stay open. On paper, a 15-point favorite's always going to look better. Just like on paper in MMA, a minus 500 is always going to look better. The data, the metrics, the results, the strength of schedule, all of that, it's got to look better. That's why they're that much of a favorite. But again, the spread becomes the great equalizer. And here I think Houston should keep it closer than what that number reflects. This is the steam play. Real quick, here's some college football totals because we gave out a bunch of sides. Multiple groups agreed. 221, under 55.5, Arizona State, UCLA. 127, under 43.5, Troy, South Carolina. 123, under 55, La Tech, NC State. Game 135, under 57.5, Kansas, Iowa State. Game 151, under 56, Nevada, Boise. And this is a couple groups, not the biggest, but over Auburn, LSU, 54.5, under Syracuse, FSU, 52, under 54, Indiana, Penn State, over 60.5, BYU, Utah State, over 71, Duke, North Carolina. And that's pretty much it. And Monday night, I will save that for later. Don't worry. We'll share some stuff later. Stick around.
VR, you should just see what just happened. As I'm frantically writing it down, I just scribble off the page because you said you're going to save it for later. I hope I get a text after the end of the show. That being said, we've still got barking dogs to get to. Marco, you are up. Barking dogs, NFL Week 4. Tell me you got us a juicy one, just like in college.
I got a juicy barking dog. And Kelly, have you bought your Super Bowl ticket to see the LA Rams yet? Because everybody else is buying them right now. The stock couldn't be any higher on the LA Rams. Coming into the season, we talked about it. Who was the most hyped team? The Rams, because they finally got a quarterback in Matthew Stafford. The expectations were high. Yes, Tampa Bay was the defending Super Bowl champs. Tampa Bay brought back that entire team. So naturally, they were the favorites coming in. But now, after the Rams demolished Tampa Bay last week, who are the new flavor of the week? And it is the LA Rams. And that's right when we want to step in front of them and take the juicy dog. And that juicy dog is the Arizona Cardinals. Yeah, maybe their schedule wasn't the best. They played Tennessee in week 1. If you remember, I had a big play on them there. They delivered. Then they were very, very lucky to beat Minnesota. Minnesota missed a gimme field goal at the final play of the game to preserve the win. And then last week they had, Jacksonville. What could you say? And they even spotted Jacksonville a touchdown on the missed field goal, 109-yard return for Jacksonville. So Jacksonville really only scored 12 points in that game offensively. And if you look now, this Arizona team held Tennessee to 13. Yeah, Minnesota scored 33 against them, but that was a wide open game. Both teams were going up and down the field. I look at the Rams. They played 2 soft teams, in my opinion, to start the season. You had Andy Dalton the first week with Chicago, and you had Carson Wentz the second week with Indianapolis, and they handled them easily. Last week, Tom Brady in defeat threw for over 400 yards. The thing with Arizona is you've got a complete team offensively. They've got a ton of offensive weapons. They got Kyler Murray more offensive weapons this year. You know what he's got at the wide receiver position, but they strengthened the running game with picking up James Conner to help on third downs and, your backup running back. This is a team that I think can move the ball on this Rams defense with both the running and passing game. And then you throw in, like I said, in the other game with Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray can duck the ball and run with it. I think they get the win this week, calling it Arizona 27-24. That's my barking dog. And as VR does, little sprinkle.
Marco, as president, well, at least on Sunday, I was president of the Rams fan club. I don't know how I'm going to feel about this team this week. I went back and forth, and I really respect your opinion, so I may just have to stay off this week. VR, do you have a bigger barking dog than Marco?
A bigger barking dog? Who did I use? Oh, they're not too big of a dog. But I'm fading my Dallas Cowboys and taking the Carolina Panthers. I think this is a really good spot for Carolina because usually you wouldn't get this many points with a team that's outperformed the betting market the way they have. Hear me out. Over the last 2 weeks, they've outperformed the betting market by almost 30 points. And they're coming off a road game on top of that. Now, usually those teams would be overvalued. This is because, again, this is their second road game, meaning they'd be getting not enough for the position they're in. But they're playing the Dallas Cowboys, who luckily are perfect ATS this year and coming off that Monday night football win against the Philadelphia Eagles, where they didn't just win, they won convincingly by 3 touchdowns when you're only 3.5-point favorites. That's the reason we're getting so many more points than we should. And what I mean by so many more points is that extra 1.5. And that's all we really need in the NFL. If you could get that much around that key number, your goal. And what I mean is Dallas should not even be a 3-point favorite in this spot. I think Carolina go in there and actually beat them. Position for position, they could beat Dallas. The McCaffrey situation worries me a little, injury, so you want to obviously make sure he's a go. But with the number up where it is, I don't think it's question he's going to play. So give me the Carolina Panthers, take the points, obviously for insurance, but that's got sprinkle written all over it. And this is coming from someone who had Dallas on Monday night.
I also had Dallas on Monday night, and I felt like that was a really great transition into best bets, but unfortunately for you guys, we have to go to commercial break.
Sign up for the free WagerTalk text club to gain access to free plays and exclusive discounts. Just text WagerTalk to 33222 to sign up and get a $10 coupon to use on WagerTalk.com.
Welcome back to Bet On. It is best bet time, and I'll go first. I'm just going to carry over from what VR said, and my best bet this week is the Carolina Panthers. Look, it was easy to lay those points with Dallas on Monday Night Football when they played a team like the Eagles. We do know now, and I will get to VR here in a second, that Christian McCaffrey is confirmed out for this weekend, but I do think it was already built into the betting line. Throw on the fact that Dallas 0-8 straight up and against the spread, thanks to our buddy Mark Lawrence for that one, after a home win on Monday night. VR, I want you to give your best bet, but before we do, I did want you to go ahead and touch on that Christian McCaffrey injury.
Yeah, the 100% out. I the last I had was possibly questionable type stuff. I know the built into the line because of last week not playing. That's what worries me. I'd say right now I will have to pass. I would not use it at this number as my dog. No way. If again, the groups I work with, that's why I pass it along. If I confirm it and I dig deeper and think there's still value there, I'll bet it and give it to my subscribers. But right now on the show, not having that information confirmed, I wouldn't have bet it.
Okay, well, I did take the 4.5. There are still 4.5s out there. It looks like it's headed to 4. I really do like this play, and I do agree with VR's initial analysis that I do think they are worth a money line sprinkle. This team should still be able to run all over that Dallas defense. And I really like this pass rush. Now, I know they don't get a ton of credit compared to bigger pass rush type teams, but I think they're going to put some pressure on Dak. VR, I'm going to kick it back to you for your best bet for this week.
I'm going to go with another small dog, now about 4.5. Give me the Arizona Cardinals, the undefeated Arizona Cardinals in a big game for that division. I know, should Arizona even be in this conversation? Yeah, absolutely. This offense is that legit. And more importantly, if you've been paying attention, defense is coming around a little bit. But nobody's figured it out yet. You know, all that talk about now they'll have tape on Kyler Murray and now they've got him figured out. Nah, Arizona's one step ahead because as we touched on, now you see them plays that they're calling, like they're designed. So forget the ones he's keeping alive. The design plays now that they've been able to execute has made them so dangerous. And every week they're just throwing new wrinkles at teams. I still think you haven't seen everything. And I think this is one of those games where the Rams are about to see some new wrinkles come out of Arizona that they haven't. And coming off that Tampa Bay game, it doesn't get bigger than that for the Rams. Now, again, is it going to be a letdown having an undefeated division rival come to town? No, you're going to bring your A game. But with all that said, I still love the fact we're getting more than a field goal here. Absolutely no reason at all the Rams should be more than a field goal favorite. They do not have a strong home field advantage, number one. And on a neutral field, it just doesn't reflect they're that much better. So give me Arizona to keep on winning and making those doubters wrong. I'll take the points. I think they win this game straight up, actually, and go to 4-0.
All right, Marco D'Angelo, your best bet for this week in the NFL.
All right, Kelly, before I go to my best bet, just want to tell you your Carolina play and VR's initial Carolina play. If I win a sandwich game this week, that was the candidate for the sandwich game. It was Carolina because Dallas is sandwiched off of those three big games they opened the season with the Monday night game being last week, and then having a division game against the Giants next week. So, give you a little bonus there. As far as my best bet, we're going to go to the Mile High City. And I've got breaking news. The Denver Broncos are 3-0, but the three teams they played are a combined 0-9. I bet you nobody says that this week. I've only seen that about 150 times from all the talking heads. And if that's all you do with your handicapping is point out that Denver's 3-0 against 0-9, a combined 0-9, three opponents, then you better run because that's not how you're going to win in the NFL. And let me tell you what it is. First of all, Denver didn't make that schedule. They only can play who is in front of them. But what it has done for Denver is given Teddy Bridgewater an easy schedule to start with, that he has been able to ease his way into this offense. Remember, this is the third different offense and team for Teddy Bridgewater in the last 3 years. He was the backup in New Orleans. And what did he do when he came in when Drew Brees got hurt? Didn't they go 5-0 with him? Last year, he got, I thought, a bum deal in Carolina. New team, new offense, rookie head coach. And what did you have to do it in? A COVID year where you had no preseason to prep with that new offense. What's he get this year? Well, he got 3 preseason games. Then he got basically 3 more preseason games with that soft schedule. But what it's done is got this offense clicking, and now Baltimore comes to town. Now, I know Ralph pointed something out about teams playing back-to-back. It's not that big of a disadvantage back-to-back on the road. It's a 50% proposition. Yeah, okay. But let's dig a little bit deeper. For Baltimore, it's 3 road games in 4 weeks. In their big games, they played a Monday night game to open up the first game in Allegiant Stadium with fans. That was a huge Monday night game. Then you had to come back and play on a short week on Sunday Night Football, another primetime game against Kansas City. Then they go on the road last week to Detroit. Life and death with the Lions and get the record-setting field goal to win at the gun. Now they got to go to Denver fatigue's got to play into this in the factor in the fourth quarter in that altitude. 3 out of 4 weeks on the road, and 3 of those games being big games. I like Denver in here. The defense is playing well. Von Miller looks like Von Miller of old right now. He's healthy. He's also playing for a contract. And that Denver defense that looks so good right now, yeah, they've played soft offenses, but they're better simply because of the Denver offense. The Denver offense with Teddy Bridgewater is staying on the field for long drives. That will make any defense better. And we know how good this defense has been in past years. And they've got a defensive-minded head coach. But when your defense is on the field more than your offense, because Denver hasn't had a quarterback in how long, it wears out. That's not the case this year. And my final point with Denver, Teddy Bridgewater, probably the most underrated quarterback in the NFL. Do you know in the last 5 years, when he has started, this guy is 23-9 against the spread. That's pretty impressive. I'll go ahead. I'll take the Denver Broncos. And you know what this is? I like to call it their legitimizer game because everybody's throwing in their face they've played an 0-9 record. They make a statement on Sunday. I like the Broncos. Roll big. I've got them winning 27-17.
Great stuff, Marco and VR. We are going to take our last commercial break, but when we come back, it's time for the recap.
Why is our 269 October All Access special one of our best deals ever? Let us count the ways. 5 college football Saturdays, 5 NFL Sundays, full month of MLB playoffs, NHL starts October 12th, NBA season starts October 19th, plus any other sport your favorite handicap releases, all for under $9 a day. As an added bonus, sign up early and get the rest of September included for free.
It's time for the NFL Week 4 recap. Thursday night games. VR and I are on the same page. Who wants to lay 7.5 with the Cincinnati Bengals? Who the hell wants to take 7.5 with the Jacksonville Jaguars? VR said if you're going to make him pick, that's what he's going to do. Marco has Cincinnati in teasers. Speaking of his teasers, he's also got them wrapped up with the Colts. Sunday Night Football, we all in agreement. I'm hoping we get 7.5 here with New England. This is too many points for the Bucs on the road. VR's teaser, Atlanta plus 7.5, Saints minus 1.5. I already mentioned Marco's, Cincinnati, and the Colts. Steam game of the week, Houston plus 16.5 over the Bills. Too many points for those sharp guys. The trap game this week is Seattle plus 3. Survivor, it's going to be tough. But Marco and I have the Bengals. VR said, you want him to pick Survivor. He'll take the Saints. Barking Dogs, Arizona plus 4.5 for Marco. VR said, about Christian McCaffrey, he's going to stay away from this one. Speaking of Christian McCaffrey, I'm not worried about him at all. Give me Carolina plus 4.5. VR said his best bet is the Cardinals plus 4.5. And Marco likes the Denver Broncos here minus 1. Great stuff from my 2 favorite guys this week. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Jump in the comments. Tell us some nice things, even some mean things, because it all helps the algorithm, and we will take it. He's got a nice little slap.
I don't want people complaining I didn't give any dogs out. So real quick, 2 NFL gold. Detroit, this was steam. Detroit plus 3 and New York Jets plus 8. At least those I could tell you. They're legit moves. Whether you follow, fade, whatever, those are 2 legit dogs. Those I would get behind. I do have a percentage of those. I haven't released them, but I have in that outcome, there is some financial liability. So yeah, let's go with that. But again,
all right,
we'll pass on for the show, give you some gold.
I love to hear it. Thank you, VR, for that added little extra of one team I just don't want to back whatsoever. But thank you for that. And also, thank you for keeping me off the Bears because they were sure looking like a play this morning. Lions and Jets, some extra added gold from VR. Marco, Ralph, myself, VR. We're going to see you guys next week. Make sure you guys head over, check out our college football edition of Bet On It if you haven't already. Until next week, can't wait to see you. Let's bet on it.